Oh, we did, and a whole lot more.
Good news, then. So, what exactly are you doing here? Plenty still to be done in defeating the Terramorphs, no?
We found a recording of you discussing the use of Terramorphs as a weapon. Now you're involved in the text. In Tau City and New Atlantis, murdered citizens, and you're going to pay for it.
Did you? Well, I don't know what you think you heard on this recording, but I sincerely hope you didn't come to the wrong conclusions. After all, given the Cabinet's current state of anxiety, they might misinterpret such a discovery to mean I could have been involved with the attacks. Perhaps I can convince you to keep this among us.
So you really don't know anything about the attacks? Is that what you're claiming?
Of course. Do I look like I'm in any position to do what you're describing? So I'd very much appreciate your agreement to not share what you found. We wouldn't want anyone else jumping to conclusions now, would we?
Sorry, I'm telling the Cabinet what we learned. Consider this your chance to come clean.
You know, you're far more clever than I expected. You want to hear the words, then? I
Yeah.
did it. The Terramorph attacks on Tau City, New Atlantis, my doing. Years of coordination between my associate and I, figuring out how to deploy the Lazarus plant's pollen outside of Londinian, learning to synthesize it, use it as a weapon. Now, being as clever as you are, I'm sure you have thoughts on why I might do such a thing.
Yeah, it's gonna be mad. Yeah, he's got an associate. But we don't want to give her... Because you're a madman and a murderer, we don't want to insult him. No better way to show that you see what a weapon they have in their Lazarus. Use it.
Not a bad thought. But no. The attacks were a correction. When I discovered the plant, I did consider handing over what I'd found. But we were at war. And I couldn't risk information that dangerous falling into the wrong hands. So I ordered the bombing of the Londinian spaceport. Fixing two problems at once. Halting the spread of the city's Terramorph outbreak, and sealing away knowledge of the plant's potential.
So we can say, please no secret is so dangerous that you can justify condemning so many lives. Just said it took you years to use the plant outside Ledonium. Killed them for nothing. That information should have been handed over, secured it to keep it used. You didn't even trust your own people.
These were the final days of the colony war, Captain. The Freestar Collective had spies everywhere. I was concerned that if word got out, the Collective could swoop down, start breeding Lazarus plants, and overrun our worlds with waves of Terramorphs. Just like what was happening on Londinian at that very moment. Sealing off the city to prevent mass death? It was the only option that made sense at the time.
There's no secret is so dangerous that you can justify. Just said it took years to you silent. Killed them. Information should have been handed over to security. Just said he doesn't agree with that?
Easy to say now, but in that moment, I wasn't about to add another dangerous variable to an already catastrophic war. But then, as the war ended, my trial, my execution, I made a decision. After all, I'd given everything for the colonies. My life as I knew it included. And what did I get in return? Was there any effort by the UC to protect my legacy? My daughter's legacy? No. We were sacrificed when all we did was serve. So I kept what I'd learned and arranged the attacks to set things right again. My daughter, she becomes a hero. I become a trusted advisor, having found Kaiser, the research team, and cement my new position of influence when I hand them the name of the person responsible for the attack on New Atlantis. The dear departed Dr. Reginald Orlays, the associate who aided me all these years, and whom I always slated to take the fall. What luck he was stopped dead before he could hurt anyone else. His decades on the run brought to an end by another unlikely hero. You.
Yeah. He murdered UC citizens because of some slight against her. So I'm just your cleanup crew. You're very clever. How could you have coordinated all in here? The hell do you care if the UC wants advisor?
Why would I want to be in the good graces of the people who control my very life? I don't know, Captain. Maybe I still dream of a life outside these walls someday. A new face would be needed, of course, but it wasn't an impossibility. Though now, I'm not so sure.
How could you have coordinated all this?
It wasn't easy. But the beauty of being loathed is that people will do whatever they can not to deal with you. They wanted to pretend I didn't exist. And so I used their blind eye to my advantage. Still, establishing a back channel to Orlays via the UC recovery teams was painstaking work. I've led campaigns less nerve-wracking. They believed they were luring in wanted criminals, but were in fact delivering precisely encoded slates, filled with instructions invisible to any but their recipient, dropped off at just the right moments to fall into the proper hands, all without the UC realizing whom you were actually dealing with. Slow work. But as you can see, ultimately effective.
So I'm just your cleanup crew.
Captain, please. You've benefited here as much as I have. Maybe more. It's why I had Orlays reprogram Kaiser. Had that old machine guide you to where I found the plant all those years ago. I went to great lengths to ensure your and Hadrian's success. And look at the results. I know for a fact the Cabinet's planning to honor both you and Hadrian once this is all done. Isn't that preferable to languishing away in obscurity? Running jobs on the tail end of nowhere for the Vanguard? With only the vague hopes of perhaps earning the right to buy a home in the well someday.
Suppose there benefits. Suppose there has been some benefit. Waiting for me to say thank you.
I'm simply looking for you to acknowledge the truth. And let's not forget the importance of our actual endgame. Eliminating the Terramorphs. Securing knowledge of the Lazarus plant. What we've set in motion is going to protect thousands, maybe millions of lives. I'm simply requesting one more life be protected. Mine. I've already sent along the evidence of Orlays' role in the attacks to the Cabinet, leaving out my own involvement. All I ask threats to the UC. This needn't be the end of our good works together.
Guy's like freaking emperor. He's all got all these. I think I'm just gonna forget the fact that you killed people to accomplish your good works. Hope you enjoyed this talk. To tell the cabinet, it'll probably be your best. No, I'm not sure what I'm going to tell the cabinet.
Well, I do hope you'll keep the larger perspective in mind, Captain. We've done something great here. Let's not squander the opportunity to do more.
Oh, mercy. Dude is... Now I have to figure out what to do with it. Come on, Vasco. Get out of here, bud. Oh, going the wrong way.
Perfect timing. We just got in. So on our end, good news. The microbe and the acyles are both as effective against heat leeches as they are against terramorphs.
Means either plan should work for clearing those critters off our worlds.
Considering what the Lazarus plant is capable of, I don't think we can deal with those things fast enough. I already sent along info to the cabinet to get them up to speed. So what about your end? Did you find anything?
Oh yeah.
Any leads on who might have committed the attacks?
It was Victus. So
That seems unlikely, considering he's been dust for about 20 years.
I'm sure the captain just misspoke. Right?
no.
No, that's impossible. He's gone. My father is dead.
Look, I'm sorry, but I didn't tell you sooner.
Good God, you're not kidding.
Alive. Victus is alive? How did you find him?
He actually contacted me. He's the reason we found Kaiser.
Wait. You knew he was alive and didn't tell us?
Good, and I was sworn to secrecy, but this felt too important.
You were sworn to... You swore. You were just doing your duty, weren't you? Yeah, I guess I, of all people, should know what a burden that can be. Doesn't mean I'm not mad. But I guess you letting us know late is preferable to never. Now
Yeah,
at
I
least
hope
we
you'll
can
forgive
inform
me.
the cabinet and let them deal with him.
He wants us to leave out his involvement in the attacks. Says to consider the lives he helped save.
I'm sure he did. But he killed dozens of people. And I'm not about to let him get away with something like that. But
you.
now...
Good
Now
for
I
you.
guess we've got our answer. Nothing left to do but put it all in front of the cabinet. Any last things we needed to discuss? This might be our last opportunity to talk things through before the cabinet weighs in on a decision regarding the Terramorphs.
The cabinet will do when they learn. Called woman in it.
It's hard to know. Unlike my father, the cabinet aren't butchers. But killing UC citizens, along with everything else he's done, is unforgivable. But if you're really that concerned, you could request they be lenient. They might be willing to spare him.
What kind of risks are there if you decide to bring back?
Asylees aren't hostile to
Asylees.
humans, but
Say it
they
wrong.
are megafauna. If someone decides to pick a fight with one, it could get ugly. But they've already been spread far and wide once before when the UC was raising them as livestock, so the risk of introducing them to new worlds is minimal. Using them to clean up the Terramorphs and leeches, though, it's not going to be nearly as expedient as the microbe would be. Given what we know now about the Lazarus plant, the speed of the job does matter. But going with the Asylees, we're at least dealing with
Asylees.
known risks.
So both approaches to clearing our worlds are effective against heat.
They are.
Microbe needed minimal adjustment to account for heat leech anatomy.
And the Asylees seem like they're even better at tracking leeches than morphs.
Hell of a sight to watch, though, when they catch them. Like an open airlock guzzling angry spaghetti.
Which method of dealing with the Terramorphs are you leaning to?
Microbe is gonna make the cleanup a whole lot quicker. If we're concerned about this Lazarus plant getting deployed again, that's the way to go.
The cabinet can secure the Lazarus plant, and then we're not risking any surprises when it comes to dealing with a microbe.
You're being paranoid. You know the science. You know we can make this safe.
I do know the science. I also know math. And a 1 in a million chance of a mutation isn't 0. So I guess we're still in discussion. Probably best at this point to let the cabinet weigh in, see if they have a preference.
Nothing else on my end. Let's head in.
Then here we go.
Welcome back, all of you. I wish we were meeting under better circumstances. But according to Hadrian's report, and the second one I just received, it seems the Terramorph attack on New Atlantis was no random occurrence, but a planned strike. Is what I'm reading here true?
Our second report from who I think it's from.
This report comes from a particularly confidential source both you and I are familiar with, yes. Among the reasons its findings are so alarming. Now, is it true? Was the attack on New Atlantis planned?
That's correct, ma'am. It was a deliberate attack.
My God.
An attack? Using terramorphs? How is that possible?
You will all receive a full briefing once we're done here. So then, is what the second report claims correct? Did Reginald Orlays commit these attacks, Captain?
Orlays?
That report isn't the whole truth.
It's true, ma'am. I heard the recording myself. My father figured out how to use Terramorphs as weapons.
He did what?
That's impossible. He doesn't have the kind of access to...
Clearly, he made his own access, Chief Sarkin. Madam President, I have been saying for years that not dealing with that man was gonna end in tragedy.
Enough! I hope everyone here understands that what has just been shared is a state secret of the highest order.
Yeah, because 'Cause they
This
all pretended he
information
was
does
dead for
not
20 years.
leave this room. Now, that's quite the accusation you're leveling, considering Francois Sanon has not left containment for the better part of 2 decades. You have evidence to back this up?
It just transformed. A terramorph out of thin air. An invisible weapon. No planet would be safe.
Heavens help us. Is that actually him?
I'd know that voice anywhere. That's Francois.
He knew they could do this, and said nothing.
He's a sociopath. Plain and simple, ma'am.
Officer, please collect that recording.
Yes, ma'am. Begging your pardon, Captain.
We'll, of course, be launching a full investigation into how this could have happened. Though I have little doubt the Admiral will be quick to share all he knows on the subject once confronted with that recording. Chief Yassine, can you send one of your interrogators to have a little chat with the Admiral?
I'll issue the order immediately.
Good. Combined with everything else you all have uncovered. Well, I don't think the United Colonies can thank you enough.
I know, I'm your
We
hero.
failed the people of the colonies by not dealing with Vayvictus sooner. I intend to rectify that mistake immediately.
Can you ensure he has no more outside contacts? UC functionaries. Exit out. Ma'am, I would request his life be spared to help us against the remorse.
I'm not sure I see why someone with UC blood on their hands would merit leniency. But I will note your request when the decision is made. Now, with our villain unmasked, we can attend to the other matters at hand. With the threads you've brought together here, the Lazarus plant, the attacks, the heat leeches, the 3 of you have likely spared thousands of lives. But it now falls to the Cabinet to ensure this can never happen again. As such, the Cabinet will be securing the Lazarus plant on Londinian. All materials related to the plant will be classified to ensure no one else learns its true nature.
A sound decision, Madam President.
Ma'am, I believe the other factions should be involved in securing the Lazarus.
Tell the Freestar Collective. Wow. So they have another tool to utilize against us?
I'm in agreement. I fail to see the value here.
It'd demonstrate to the collective the UC isn't planning to seek to use this down the line.
That is an interesting idea. A grand gesture to further display this cabinet doesn't think like those of the past.
The observers on Mars have proven such a gesture can bear fruit.
So, you want us to make nice with the collective by sharing our state secrets?
No, I want us to display plainly the UC's actual intentions, that the plant will never be used as a weapon again.
That does sound worthwhile, Chief Kulkarni. Very well. We'll get the collective involved in the management. Thank you for the suggestion, Captain. So then, to our final topic. The Cabinet has agreed to implement a plan that will deal with the Terramorph, and now also Heat Leech presence on human worlds. In fact, we've already begun enacting measures to check all UC ports and settlements for undiscovered nests. But we all understand this is only a partial solution. The project we're embarking on will be a long and difficult one. So our first step must be deciding how exactly this all will be handled.
Madam President, this microbe is clearly too much of a risk. The Aseles are the safer approach.
To someone with limited knowledge of biology, perhaps.
The technology behind the microbe is solved science, Madam President. It isn't dangerous. Using it to wipe out the Terramorphs would be the quickest path to protecting humanity.
And fast results always lead to the best outcomes, don't they?
No.
As
they
you
don't.
can see, there remains debate among the cabinet. We were hoping your group might issue a recommendation. Major?
We've been having similar debates ourselves, but the captain has yet to weigh in.
I see. Captain, I know this may not be your area of expertise, but we'd like to know your take on the matter.
Yes. Okay, so we have, I need a moment to collect my thoughts. Go ahead, more questions about the method. Do we need to do anything? Shouldn't securing the Lazarus plant be sufficient? Terramorphs have caused enough damage, they need to be wiped out quickly with the microbe. Playing the Sealy's safest route. My vote. Still had questions.
Please, ask.
The dangers of bringing back the Sealy's.
I can feel this one. While intimidating creatures, certainly, Aseelis are docile unless provoked. They're honestly closer to oversized mobile scanners than deadly predators. The concern is that, while all proposed methods will be long-term efforts, the Aseelis are the slowest. Slow to breed, slow to deploy. We do everything we could to accelerate that process, including mustering some of our mothballed cloning technologies. But if we do elect to use this method, we'll be doing things at the pace of a megafauna, which is not an expedient one. Infinitesimally low.
But not zero.
The chance of a starship landing on you as you sit here isn't zero, yet you still attended. Personally, my fear isn't mutation, but Terramorphs developing a resistance. But that's something our group can continue to address if we decide to take this approach, as I believe we should.
Okay, so what will be next? Will the other factions be involved in the cleanup effort? Well,
This won't work without them.
Exactly right, ma'am. The Interstellar Affairs Office has already begun reaching out to worlds throughout the settled systems, informing them of the risks we're all facing, and that the UC has a plan to prevent what happened on New Atlantis from happening elsewhere. Thus far, the response has been overwhelmingly positive. The spirit of mutual cooperation displayed between the UC and the Freestar Collective in managing the Terramorph data set a good tone for the work we're doing, Captain. We expect we'll hit some resistance, but our office has plenty of carrots and sticks to ensure the program's widespread success.
who exactly is doing all this work, employing whatever method here?
The responsibilities will be spread across multiple branches of the UC. Research and day-to-day administration will be handled by a new group under the Science Division. All diplomatic concerns and coordination will fall to Chief Yassine and Interstellar Affairs. But most of the actual on-the-ground work, that'll be handled by the Vanguard. Very well. Then did you have a preference on the method we should deploy?
Need to do anything? Really Lazarus piece.
I believe we have a responsibility to do something, yes. Heavens forbid, years from now, someone reopens the Pandora's box that Vevictus discovered. It falls to us to enact every measure required to ensure that day never comes.
Yeah, so, playing the Achilles, it's the safest route. I vote
I'm
for
in
that.
full agreement. No need be delving into unpredictable sciences.
And Major Sinan? Dr. Walker, you'd find this acceptable?
We trust the captain's judgment.
Then the matter is settled. We'll begin the process immediately. Today marks day one for the United Colonies Terramorph Management Division. making you three the founding members of the TMD.
Aw, maybe a
As
member.
befits such a group, the cabinet wanted to display its gratitude. Today, we will be adding 3 new Class 1 citizens to our
Class
ranks.
Class 1? For the 3 of us? Are you joking?
What he means to say is, thank you, ma'am.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, ma'am.
What's a class 1 sit? I don't even know.
It's a status reserved only for those who've dedicated their lives to the United Colonies, or done great things for its cause. Class 1s enjoy an ample credit disbursement, an additional reduction on the cost of colonial goods. And I'm told the penthouse is rather impressive.
Time to get paid. Thank you,
You
Madam
all
President.
have earned it. Now, there's much to be done. Major Sanan, Dr. Walker, I hope you two are willing to continue your efforts, spearheading the TMD's research on Mars.
We'd be honored, ma'am.
And as a member of both the Vanguard and the TMD, I believe you, Captain, will have your pick of duties. Speak to your commander, Tuala, if I recall correctly. He should be able to provide you with assignments going forward, plus help you collect the benefits that come with being named Class 1. On behalf of the whole of the United Colonies, you have our sincerest gratitude. This meeting is adjourned.
Your insistence on carrying so many things is reducing our travel speed.
Captain, I guess we've got our assignments. I just wanted to say, I could have never guessed where all this was going to lead.
I know.
But now, knowing what I do, that my father truly is the monster I always thought he was.
I'm sorry.
Well, I've just spent a lot of my life in pursuit of the truth. So, you bringing it straight to me, it just means a lot. The best ones certainly do. You know, I was thinking, while we were there on the podium, if I wanted to try and see him again. After all, it could be my last chance. But I knew the answer before I even finished the thought. I didn't. Because confronting him, what would I gain from that? From letting him remind me I can never truly be rid of him? Nothing. Now, all I'd be doing is acknowledging that he still has some sway over my life. And while I can't do anything about his role in my past, I'm not about to let him control my future. And thanks to what we've done together, that future is brighter than it has been in a long time. Words can't do justice to how grateful I am for that. Well, I think it's safe to say you succeeded beyond anyone's wildest dreams. It's been an honor, Captain. Good luck out there.
heard you've been making the settled system safer. Not much. Take this.
Well, well, I've got to say, this is a first. I've never had a Class 1 citizen in my ranks before. Congratulations, Captain. It's a high honor. Have to do something big for the colonies to earn that sort of designation. Only ever met a couple myself, and certainly never given one orders. You should be real proud. No need to thank me. You brought this on yourself. I've already gone ahead and processed your Class 1 benefits. All UC goods and services should now have a thanks for protecting the colonies discount. And the credits should be in your accounts now. But to get into your penthouse, you'll have to pay a visit to the Aphelion Realty office. They should be able to grant you access. Higher-ups wanted to make sure you know how much they appreciate what you've done. But with all that squared, it's time to get you a new assignment. There are your standard Vanguard missions, putting those pilot skills to use defending UC space. Or you could help the TMD in cleaning up terramorphs. Oh, and I got a request from Dr. Walker. Wanted your help collecting biological samples to keep an eye out for any, new alien threats on the horizon. Any of those missions call to you? Any chance to bag some bugs, right? Well, I can provide. Let me just check my logs. Okay, these coordinates should get you to your first target. There. These missions are straightforward. Proceed to the location, kill the critter before it can do any more harm. Just be smart out there. Don't want you getting banged up too bad on your first hunt. Super et ultra, Captain. That terramorph doesn't have a prayer. What can I do for you? Got a mission bringing some peace to UC skies. You interested? All right, let's get you the details. Just getting those coordinates to you now. Report says ships at these coordinates fired on United Colonies craft. You're cleared to use lethal force if necessary. Sounds like we're clearing out a snake nest this time. Maroon zealots. So be ready for a real scrap. Do us proud. Something to report?
Good day, Captain.
Well, well, if it isn't the United Colony's newest Class 1 citizen, you've made quite a name for yourself in New Atlantis. In fact, the higher-ups want to thank you for your dedicated service by giving you one of the nicest pieces of real estate in the city. It's a premium penthouse at the top of Mercury Tower.
Oh, yeah.
Best location in New Atlantis, in my professional opinion. What do you say?
Nice.
It'll just take a second to get you registered as the owner.
Yeah, hook me up.
Great! You're in for a real treat. It's one of my favorite apartments in the city. Okay, you're all set. Your new home's located in Mercury Tower in the residential district. You'll love the place. It has a gorgeous floor plan and an unbeatable view of the city. Now that you're an owner, I'm sure I'll be seeing you around town.
Oh, you think so, huh?
stand back. This unit is on patrol.
But thank have I? Oh, that's right. In order to sign up for Ryujin, I do this. Start that questline before too long.
The contact for the job. I don't know.
See what we got over here today.
You're only... I would never dream of selling substandard gear. Outland has standards, and yes, by all means, have a look.
Stuff.
Please do. I hope.
Out for sale.
Good luck on all your adventures.
Alright, let's hit up this next one over here. Been here before. Might get an experience points just coming here. I've been here before.
Were you seen?
It's not like
You have another story from my source is back. Here to report anything else?
Got a long list. Okay. How about the time I killed Ron Hope?
What a sordid mess. You've got some other sources we've been interviewing, but I'd love to get your take on the record. So there was a mercenary company, the First, and they were involved in taking farmlands from Freestar Collective families. Extortion, death threats, murder, all of it. Is that right?
The other source got it right.
Good to know. So all of that? Terrible. But Ron Hope, the Ron Hope, was involved with it at the highest level. All of that suffering was a plot to save Hope Tech from going under using the side effects of a fertilizer he developed. Let me be blunt. The other sources say you killed Ron Hope. Is that correct?
I only killed him after he tried bribing me and worse.
And all that money didn't help in the end. After all of that, the future of Hope Tech is an open question. Their stock has already taken a beating. Not sure if it's going to go into freefall. Any comment?
But what Rob Hope did, Hope Tech is a good company. I know it'll... As a ranger worrying about places.
For what it's worth, I'm rooting for them too.
Yeah,
Thanks.
I didn't do anything wrong.
If you listen to the news, you'll definitely hear this. And, maybe try not to ice any more CEOs. Just a thought.
Hey, I'm trying.
You have that look in your eye. What's the scoop?
Okay, let's talk about the robbery
You
at the bank.
certainly get around. I'm surprised that branch has any customers left the number of times it's been held up. But I thought the Rangers had finally managed to get a handle on it. I heard there was a standoff. That true?
My first time there too. Welcome to Aquila. Don't mind the robbery.
I hear the robbers are provided free of charge. All part of the service. What happened to the robbers? The Shaw gang? Wait, what? You cleaned them out? Jesus. I'm sorry, but I might have to dig up some witnesses to confirm that. Anyway, these things are often messy. Any customers or Galbank staff get hurt?
Thankfully, there was no casualties, not even any injuries I know of.
That's really good news. Usually, well, it's a different kind of story. You were there. You were involved in resolving it. Any comment on the Freestar Rangers? Having another high-profile robbery in their own backyard is a bit of a black eye.
Desperate people do desperate things. Rangers keep turning into a massacre.
Huh. That's really good to know. Stories like this always fire up public outrage and appetite. Thanks for the interview. And take this.
Get paid
Talking
to tell
get
a
paid,
story.
I spread the news. It's a classic win-win. I already interviewed an ex-pirate about the robbery. But she was as reliable as good coffee around here. So you were there when it went down? What were you doing there?
Not really relevant, but I was.
Well then, let's continue, Mr. Not Really Relevant. Tell me about this Captain Petrov.
I was undercover.
I've heard he's a bit of an eccentric. What was your impression of him?
Petrov was a hoarder, liked to pledge anything strange or unusual. He was a character, alright. I liked him.
I would have loved to have seen it. I'm sure it would make a good story right there. No one seems to know exactly what was stolen, but everyone agrees it was valuable. Care to shed some light on it?
An unusual artifact dug up on the planet. It's me. Get out of there. I could.
Artifact, you say? I've been hearing whispers about those lately. Last question. About, and I'm quoting, a zoo gone wild. The other source swore up and down that alien creatures got out of their cages and went on a rampage. Please, please, please tell me she was telling the truth. It's got to be some Aurora-induced hallucination.
Did I release the animals? I don't remember. That's correct.
Some days, it is worth it to get out of bed. I love it. This is just a plain old good story. Check the newsfeed for it later. And here's your payment. If you have a new story for me, I'm very happy to pay your fee. Of course you are. Why wouldn't you be? I swear you're either a trouble magnet or something.
Hey, are you hitting
So,
me?
Sistef finally, and against
I know,
all
again.
odds, really triumphed against the Crimson Fleet. In their own backyard, no less. How were you involved?
Telling truth?
So what do you do for an encore? So, the Vigilants went toe-to-toe with everything the Crimson Fleet could throw at them. And somehow, almost miraculously, they captured the key. The key itself. I've confirmed that with many sources. Anything to add?
The effort of many. As part of the team, actually captured.
Someone seriously owes you a beer. Hell, a keg. You have to feel good about how everything turned out. Commander Ikande is being hailed a hero. And Sistef's popularity is at an all-time high. Your thoughts?
Steph was successful in finally fighting the wrong.
The UC did kind of spawn this monster. And like you said, it might finally be dealt with. And that's all I need. You really do lead an extraordinary life. And as a, well, possibly embarrassing personal note, thank God for you. When you first walked into my office, I had no idea you would be at the center of so much. And I get the feeling you're not sharing everything.
Some secrets aren't mine.
I get that. Really. I do. I talked with the editor, and he authorized a special bonus for someone who's worked with us so long. And maybe one day, years from now, you can fill me in on the stories you didn't want broadcast. Take care, Constellation. Your stories are a big hit. You lead a, well, an amazing. Hope to see you again.
There we go.
Definitely better than the last in this episode.
The foyer? Come on, Vasco. Let's check it out. Oh, yeah. Okay. That's all their cabinets. Kitchen. This be our pantry. Okay. Fridge. This is our decorator. Bathroom. That bathroom. Bedroom. Master. Okay. Personal porch. Oh, look at that view. A cow. There's and you can see him walking around. That's crazy. That's the washroom. Here. Right. Combo. Bedroom. Bedroom. Ah. Her closet, huh? There's those. we put store? Excuse me, bud. But you're in the way, bud. Alright, let's get back to work.
I know your type.
Alright, you maniacs. Thanks for joining me tonight. Almost done for the night. You guys take it easy. I will see you the next one.